Good morning to everyone, wherever you may be in any part of the country, depending on the time and when you get this video. You see, this video is going to be a little bit long, and because I'm really rushing to somewhere and I want to make this video quickly. A new development has come in London, and everybody knows that everybody have been talking about immigration control, net reduction in London. Yeah, and a lot of foreigners have been affected by this recent development of net reduction in UK. And I've really sat down to think about it. I was just like having a thought about it, you know. Despite that, most foreigners are not going to be touched by it because they have already gone out of it. They have already gotten British citizen. They are no longer under that thing of step-by-step immigration before getting nationalized. Most people have already overcome it and they are part of the citizen. But now it is now tougher. You see, if you check what I was saying before, the reason why I brought at this point is because there was a time I was talking about Canada. I was talking about, and people came and hitted on me. And because of that thing, it cost me losing a lot of my fans who really love what we're doing. And they are also angry because maybe most of them want to travel to Canada. They have this zeal of going to Canada, and it's like a boy that was saying that I should stop saying what I was saying because the dad is listening to me, and the dad is not like giving him the go ahead of going to Canada because of what I said. I said to the boy, no, it is not because of what I said. It is the fact. I'm only advising, I'm only saying that people should be precautioned, should also research before you go to any country, because there are countries that are facing a lot of financial crisis, economic devastation. And they want to reform it. And if they want to reform it, why would they not reform their country? Are you going to say they should not reform their country? They have to reform their country. And it is the fact that they have to reform their country. And this is what I used to tell everyone. I said it. And the next thing, a lot of people came and hitted on me. There was a serious heat argument that was on me. I'm trying to stay where you guys can see me. That was on me that I didn't even know what to say. And I decided to ask support. And I decided to say, okay, fine. And because I know that the fact will come one day that people will want to, like, the fact will come one day that people will want to, like, because I know what I was saying was the right thing. I said to you, let me come back to what I said. Sorry. I said to you guys that I said one thing to you guys. I said that it is very, very good for you to research. Research. The reason why you have to research, so that you will know the best country to go, and research about the economies of the country. Research if the country, because if a country that a lot of them are out of their own country, that means the country is not really passing through a good economy. Because if they are good, their economy is okay, their people will only go to holiday and experience other country and come back, and not by staying out of the country. An example of it is Nigeria, Ghana, as many people, and Eastern Europe, many of them that leave their countries. And a lot of people are going to Eastern Europe, Greece, are going to a lot of places like UK here, and a lot of them are leaving, going out, and you are coming in. That's what I'm saying. And when you are coming in, what are you doing? They see you as you adding to their problem. They see you as somebody that is not really, you don't really research. Are you not seeing that their country has problem? And now, like what I was saying before, it has started happening. That they want to reform. People want to reform. A lot of global crisis has happened. People want to reform their country. And they are sending out immigrants out of their country. They are finding every loophole, which one they can restructure. A lot of time, a lot of people have come into this country with a lot of visit visa, work visa, low skill visa. They have come. I told you because then they needed a lot, because those aspect of the country company are parastatal, I would say, are really wanting people. Sectors want people. They really want people. There was a time they were complaining, they don't have worker, they don't have worker. So I think they granted that thing, they made it that thing for folk, they filled that place, they filled it up, and they are okay. It's just like when somebody is eating. When you are eating food, when you are eating and you are filled up, will you eat again? You will not want to eat again. That is it. They have filled up that sector, that care sector, that all those skill sector. They have filled it and they're not. Now it has come that they have said they have checked it. So during those times they were filling it up, they were checking if it's going to have a growth in their shift, a growth in their economy. And they say for good 4 years they have done it and it didn't shift a growth. Rather, this growth remains stay where it is, and they were seeing themselves spending more money. They see themselves spending more money rather than doing this thing. So when a country, you know, which developed country, they used to test their economies. It's not like Nigeria that doesn't test their economy. They don't test, they don't put scale, they don't check if the economy is going well or it's not going well. That's why they don't even know how their weather is. They are not organized. Every country that is not organized become like this. That's what I'm saying to you. They become like this. And who suffer? The people that suffer most are, I want people to see me, the people that suffer most are what? The people that have left their country and have come to this country to survive, and now they're being driven out back to their own country and going to face the worst of the worst. And this is the most reason why we need to research where they have made it. They have made the law and stated the law that they are going to tighten. Ken Starmer have said they are going to tighten the immigration, low skill worker, and tighten both relationship. When it comes to family, they are going to tighten that part also. The only thing they are going to be interested, extend, is the high skill worker visa. The high skill worker visa, they are going to extend that one. The high skill worker visa are going to be extended, and when that one, that is what they really want, that is what they really need, that is what they want, that it should be working in their country, because they say they missed it. And if they have such a thing going on in their country, that they will have a more development in their country. So they want to test that one, and that's the reason why they are, and they have the right to do it. It is their country. Whatever they feel like doing, they have the right to do. So all we need to do is for us to what? Make sure that we do things. Make sure that we research before going to any country. Research, know where to go to, know where to point and put your head to. It is not like it's not good for you to get to know other countries. It's good, but if you are going to live there, to have a better life, then you research it. But if you are going for holiday, you still need to research if it's dangerous or not. But if you are going to live in a country, you need to research, check how the economy is, check if the people in the country, and check if the country is accepting people. Then you can go there and settle with them, and then you can be happy. But if not, then I'm sorry that the person is going to be facing this kind of a thing. Anyway, for now, I'm going to say I'm going to end this video for now, because I'm going somewhere, and I'll come back and continue with the video, but later in another video. But right now, I want us to be what? To be wise, to follow the principle of this country. If you are here, follow the principle and find a way that you can better your citizens, resident or level of living in the country. If not, so the person will be out of this country. Please subscribe, comment, and like this video. There's a video I need to show you guys that you guys should see. Let's watch this video.
Ukraine. What are the chances of that actually happening this week, do you think?
Well, we need a serious response from Russia. They started this illegal invasion of Ukraine, and everyone wants to see peace in Ukraine. And now we've had the huge international pressure calling for a ceasefire. We do need to now see a serious response from the Russian regime. That so far has been lacking. I hope that they will now take this seriously.
Okay. Now, I understand that we're also going to see some new proposals on immigration from you this week. We know that you want to reduce migration. Is this white paper going to include a target for net migration?
Well, it's a plan to restore control and order to the immigration system and to bring net migration substantially down. After really, it was the Conservatives completely lost control of immigration. It quadrupled in the space of just 4 years. But the Conservatives did set out multiple targets, broken promises. All of them were broken. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to take that really failed approach, because I think what we need to do is rebuild credibility and trust in the whole system. So we'll set out practical steps. We'll set out the impact that they will have, but we're not going to take the approach the Conservatives took because it failed.
Well, we'll come to some of the issues and the steps, but your colleague, the Chancellor, has to have a planning number, and she's been working on the planning number of net migration of 340,000 a year. Is it correct that your department, Home Office, is now working for a higher number of over 500,000, which was the high prediction from the ONS?
No, and those are just a forecast that are done by the ONS, and there's a huge set of problems with all of those forecasts. Our view is, and there has been historically, you've seen the way in which they've been continually revised. But look, our view is that net migration needs to come substantially down. So,
okay, it's going to be less than 500,000.
No, it needs to come down. It needs to come down significantly more than that. We need to see a substantial reduction in net migration. But what we also need to do is see stronger controls in place and also changes in the way that the immigration system works. So, for example, we've had...
I promise you want to get onto system, but just to get clear, the politics of this. You want to bring it down from 500,000? Do you want to get it down below the Chancellor, the ONS OBR estimate of 340,000? What would you feel comfortable with? What sort of number?
So I understand the questions that you're asking, and effectively you're asking for the kind of thing that the Conservatives did repeatedly, which is they set numbers and then actually there was no credibility to any of them and they didn't deliver. So we're not going to take that approach. So I understand what you're saying.
You're not going to give me an order of number.
No, what we're going to do, however, we are very clear. We need to bring net migration substantially down. It is currently falling, but we need to go much further. That's what the plan is about. It's about restoring control and order. It's about preventing this chaotic system where we had overseas recruitment soar while training in the UK was cut, and we saw low-skilled migration in particular hugely go up at the same time as UK residents in work or in training fell. That is a broken system, so that is what we need to change.
All right, let's talk about some of the sharp end of this. You want to send foreign criminals back where they came from. What happens if the country where they came from, let's say the Nigerians or the Italians, say, we're not having them back? What are you going to do?
So what we need to do is increase the removals and returns, which is what we're already doing. So we've already had a 16%...
But where are you going to remove them
I'll come to your point. The 16% increase in the returns of foreign national offenders since the election, already as a result of what we're doing. You're right that there can be international barriers and there can be international problems, but that's not the only issue. So where we have those international issues, then we engage repeatedly, persistently, in a determined way, because we do think that people should return home if they break our laws. But what we also need to do is to make sure that a wider range of people are actually being returned in the first place, because at the moment, the Home Office only takes action on the cases that have been into the prison system, including cases that have been in prison for more than a year. Actually, there are a lot of other people who are committing repeated offences that the Home Office isn't even notified about. So we need to change those rules, because if you come to the UK, you should abide by the law.
Yeah, but let's stick with the ones that people most worry about. People who've committed crimes, who in some cases are dangerous.
In prison for more than a year. Actually, there are a lot of other people who are committing repeated offences that the Home Office isn't even notified about. So we need to change those rules, because if you come to the UK, you should abide by the law.
Yeah, but let's stick with the ones that people most worry about. People who've committed crimes, who in some cases are dangerous. Now, there's been a responsibility on the Home Secretary since 2007. So it was a Labour piece of legislation to return foreign prisoners, but you couldn't get them out of the country. I think last year it was estimated by the House of Lords Library that 3 prisons were dedicated essentially to foreign prisoners. You couldn't get them out of the country. Now, what is it that you're going to bring forward that will achieve what every Home Secretary for the last 18 years has failed to do? What's new?
So, firstly, we are already increasing returns of foreign criminals. A 16% increase just in the 8 or 9 months since the election. That is a significant increase.
But a few thousand. I think you've got 14, 15,000.
Indeed, but it's a significant increase since the election. So I don't think anyone can doubt our intent and our determination on this. You're right. There are obstacles and challenges that you have to continually be determined about focusing on. But what we can also do is say that, if somebody has arrived on a visa and then within a few months is committing a series of different crimes, at the moment, they may not even be picked up by the system. My view is in those circumstances, we should be taking stronger action. So we're going to broaden the number of cases. So we're going to set out new procedures. We'll set out more information on this later in the year. We're going to set out new procedures and develop new procedures to make sure that the Home Office is actually notified when crimes are committed that aren't custodial sentences. At the moment, the Home Office doesn't even know.
I thought we were going to hear the new plans this week. I mean, we're going to wait for
So I'll tell you some of the things that we're setting out this week. So we're going to introduce new restrictions on lower skilled workers, so new visa controls, because we think actually what we should be doing is concentrating on the higher skilled migration, and we should be concentrating on training in the UK. Yeah. New requirements to train here in the UK to make sure that the UK workforce benefits, and also we will be closing the care worker visa for overseas recruitment.
I want to come to the labour market issues, but let's just deal with the things that I think are in people's minds. Number of channel crossings by small boat hit 10,000 earlier this year than ever before. We know that people are crossing, and I can tell you that because Sky journalists have been out there this morning and seen the border patrol boat heading to intercept crossings. When do you expect to see those numbers fall?
So the gangs have obviously been in place. They've had 6 years in place. We are now bringing in new laws that will come into force later this year, including giving our new Border Security Command new counter-terror powers to be able to go after the gangs. We also have new agreements now in place with France, and this is particularly important because France have now agreed they are going to take prevention action in French waters to stop boats. They've never agreed to do that.
So when these boats, as we've seen, our people have shown this, they come off the beaches. Are the French police going to get out there in their patrol boats and stop those boats getting into international waters? So is that what they've promised you?
France have now agreed they're going to intervene in French waters. They've never done that before, and previous governments haven't managed to get that agreement in place. There is a thing now, they call it taxi boats, where what happens is the boat comes along with hardly anybody in it, launches much further up the coast, comes along, people wait in the water, and then everybody crowds onto the boat in the water. And because they are in the water, even in shallow waters, the French rules have said the French police can't intervene. Now, Clearly, that doesn't make any sense at all. The French Interior Minister agrees with me. That doesn't make any sense at all. So they've changed their rules in French cabinet. They're now going to take action in the water, and they've committed to doing that and to starting work on that.
Are you actually confident about this? Because we saw, literally, Sky reporters stood on the beach, saw people doing exactly what you've just described, and the French police standing on the beach going...
Yeah, and that's the rules that they've had in place.
How do you know? They could have done that before. Why couldn't they do that before?
Yeah, because the rules that they had in force, the legal framework that the French police were operating under prevented them doing it. It makes absolutely no sense. So they have now agreed, that's as a result of the work that I've been doing with the French Interior Minister. They've agreed to change that, and they're working through that at the moment. They've changed their rules in Cabinet. I welcome that. But we need that much stronger enforcement. Okay. Also, of course, it's about increasing returns overall. Failed asylum seekers, we've increased the returns by more than 20%, and that's 24,000 people overall being returned since the general election.
Let's deal with a couple of other sources of migration. You want to climb down on family reunion routes. We gave about 20,000 visas to people from the Indian subcontinent for family-related reasons.
Because the rules that they had in force, the legal framework that the French police were operating under prevented them doing it. It makes absolutely no sense. So they have now agreed, that's as a result of the work that I've been doing with the French Interior Minister. They've agreed to change that, and they're working through that at the moment. They've changed their rules in Cabinet. I welcome that. But we need that
good morning
much
to everyone, wherever you may be in any part of the country. Depending on the time and when you get this video. You see, this video is going to be a little bit long, and because I'm really rushing to somewhere, and I want to make this video quickly.
Let's deal with a couple of other
A new
sources
development
of,
has come in London, and everybody knows that everybody has been talking about
routes,
immigration control, net reduction in London.
For family-related
yes,
reasons.
And a lot of foreigners have been affected
what
by
are you going to do about that?
this
Does that mean
recent development of net reduction
We'll set out
in
more
UK.
white paper tomorrow.
And I've really sat down to think about it. I was just like having a thought about it, you know, despite that most foreigners are not going to be touched by it because they have already gone out of it, they have already gotten British citizens. They are no longer under that thing of step-by-step immigration before getting nationalized. Most people have already overcome it, and they are part of the citizen. But now it is now tougher.
If you are coming to the UK,
You see, if you check what I was saying before, the reason why I brought at this point is because there was a time I was talking about Canada. I was talking about how people came and heated on me. And because of that thing, it cost me losing a lot of my fans who really love what we do. And they are also angry because maybe most of them want to travel to Canada. They have this zeal of going to Canada, and it's like a boy that was saying that I should stop saying what I was saying because the dad is listening to me, and the dad is not like giving him the go ahead of going to Canada because of what I said. I said to the boy, no, it's not because of what I said, it is the fact. I'm only advising, I'm only saying that people should be precautioned, should also research before you go to any country, because there are countries that are facing a lot of financial crisis, economic devastation, and they want to reform it. And if they want to reform it, why would they not reform their country? Are you going to say they should not reform their country? They have to reform their country, and it is the fact that they have to reform their country. And this is what I used to tell everyone. I said it, and the next thing, a lot of people came and heated on me. There was a serious heat argument that was on me.
When we're talking, actually,
I'm trying to stay where you guys can see me. That was on me that I didn't even know what to say.
I know you won't give me
and
a number,
I decided to ask support, and I decided to say, okay, fine.
250,000, maybe 300,000.
And because I know that the fact will come one day that people
to 300,000.
will want to, like,
so the
fact will come one day that people will want to, like,
4 years, that 4 year period where
because I know what I was saying was the right thing. I said to you, let me come back to what I said. Sorry. I said to you guys that
here's some new controls we're going to introduce.
I said one thing to you guys. I said
the skilled worker visa, for example, and the care worker
visa. It is very, very good
the care
for you
worker
to
visa.
research.
Well, no, we'll go much further
Research.
than that. So
the reason why you have to research,
they belatedly
so that you will know
reversed a small number of the changes
the
that
best
they've
country
made
to go and research about the economies of the country, research in the country, because it's a country that a lot of them are out of their own country. That means the country is not really passing through a good economy, because if they are good, most if the economy is okay, there are people who only go to holiday and experience other country and come back and not buy.
Those changes, the
staying
combination of
out
just
of the
those
country.
low-skilled visa changes,
and example of
and
it is
also the
Nigeria,
care worker
Ghana,
changes
as many people,
together,
and
that is a
Eastern Europe,
reduction
many of them that
that
leave their country, and a lot of people are going to Eastern Europe, Greece, are going to a lot of places like UK here, and a lot of them are leaving, going out, and you are coming. That's what I'm saying. And when you are coming, what are you doing? They see you as you adding to their problem. They see you as somebody that is not really, you don't really research, and you're not seeing that their country has problems.
He said any deal with Trump
and now,
isn't worth
like what
the
I was
paper
saying
it's
before,
written
it has
on.
started happening.
Is Donald
that
Trump
they want
taking
to
you for a
reform. People
ride?
want to reform. A lot of
We
global
have
crises
this
are about
agreement
people want
in
to reform
place with the
their
US. I
country.
think that's
And they are sending
important,
out
particularly
immigrants out of their
the
country. They are
impact
finding
on our
every
car
loophole,
industry, for
every
example,
loophole,
is
which one
really
they can
important
restructure.
for Jaguar
A
Land
lot of
Rover
time, a lot of
that
people are coming to
we've
this
got this
country with
agreement in place.
a lot of
Clearly, we
visa,
want to go
visit
further
visa,
in terms of the trading
work
relationship
visa,
with the US. We are an
low
outward-looking
skill visa.
trading
They have
nation, so
come.
trade's important. And
I
what we've
told you
seen
because
really in
then
this
they
in the
needed
course of
a
this
lot
week
because
is the
those
new agreement both with the US and the new trade
aspect
agreement
of the
with
country,
India. Both of those are
company
things, again, that previous governments had talked about that we're getting on and doing to support our economy.
The partner that's not mentioned there is the EU, and what Stiglitz said is,
so I think
really,
they counted
you
that
should be
thing, they made
focusing
that thing
on
for
the
4
EU,
weeks, filled
because
out,
that's
they filled it up,
important,
and they are
bigger
okay.
partner, and
Just like
actually
when
it's the
somebody is
one
eating.
that we should
When you are
really
eating
be
food,
doing
when you are
the
eating
deal with.
and you are filled
Is
up,
there
when
going to
you
be a
eat
deal
again,
with the
you don't want
EU?
to
And
eat
by the
again.
way,
That is it. They have
if there is
filled
a
up
deal
that
with the
sector.
EU, will
That
there
care
be a
sector,
youth mobility
that all
scheme?
those skill sector, they are
We
filled it
have
and they are
the
not. Now
discussions
it
with
has
the
come that they
EU
have said they
about
have
the
checked
reset
it.
that we've talked about
So
are
during
underway
those
at the
times they were
moment.
filling
So
it up.
obviously
They were checking
the
if it's going to have a
approach
growth
that we've
in their
taken
shift,
both
a growth
to
in
the
their
India trade
economy.
agreement and to
And they
the
say for good
US
4 years,
trade agreement
they have
is
done
basically
it
just
and
to
it
get
didn't
on
shift
with it, not to do running
Rather,
commentaries about
the
where it's
growth
going to get
remains
to,
stay where
but
it
just
is,
to
and they
get
were
on
saying
with
they're
it and then
spending
to
more money.
announce
So
an
we
agreement.
should see something from the
They
EU.
see themselves
I deal with
spending
the EU quite
more
seriously.
Well,
money
that's the approach that
rather
we're
than
taking, but I'm not going to do a running
doing this
commentary on what we expect
So
to have
when
in place
a
and
country,
when.
you know, we
But
developed
we do
countries,
take
they
really
used to
the
test their
serious
economy.
issues about
It's not
getting
like
those trading
Nigeria
relations.
that
By the way,
doesn't
last
test
time
their
we spoke
economy.
about
They
this,
don't test, they
I
don't
asked you about the youth
put scale,
mobility
they don't
scheme, and
check
you said
if
no,
the
not
economy
never. Your colleagues haven't been quite
is
as
going well or
categorical
it's not
recently.
going well.
This is not something that
That's
we
why
put
they don't even know how
forward,
their
and
weather
we've
is.
also always been
They are
clear
not organized.
that
Every country that
the
is not
important
organized
things for
become
the
like
UK
this.
is we
That's
do
what I'm
not
saying.
have a return to free
They
movement,
become like this. And who
we
suffer?
also
The people that
always need to
suffer
make
most
sure that net migration comes down.
are
So
what
it's
they
really
say. The
important.
people that
So
suffer most
we're,
are
as I just
what?
said, I think when I was
The
talking about
immigrants,
trade
the people that have left
with
their country
India and
and have
the
come to
US.
this country to survive,
What
and
I'm
now
not
they're
going to
being
do is to
driven
do the running
back
commentary
to
because we
their own
didn't think
country
that's the
and going to
approach that
face
we took.
the
But
worst
what I
of
am
the
going to
worst.
do is be clear. The approach that I will always
And
take,
this
the
is the
approach
most
that government
reason
will always take, is
why we
no
need to
return to free
research
movement, and also
where they
net
have made
migration
it,
needs
they
to be
have
coming
made the law
down.
and
That's
said
what
the law that
tomorrow
they are
is
going
all
to
about.
fight it.
That is the approach we will take
Start
across the board.
Stammer.
Secretary, thank